Let's go.
Trap me in your Iron Maiden. The pain is numbing me. See it coming. Trap me in your Iron Maiden. I see you picked out.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey.
How did I miss the darkness sitting in your iris? Oh, darling. Stay away from humans, need your own island.
That's all I'm gonna play. That's all I'm gonna play. Welcome to another episode of the Man Lucrative podcast. I am the host, the one, the only Magneto 7 in the building. We got 58 people in. Hey, man! Shouts out to TikTok. Shouts out to Facebook. Let me get rid of my gum. I'm the worst host today. Like, you never. First thing in media, do not get on air with gum in your mouth. Hello. But welcome to another episode of the Man Lucrative podcast. This is episode 79. So I'm gonna do a few shout outs. I see it's 673 likes on TikTok. Hey, we going hard tonight. 50 people in the building. But so check it out. I saw I am a dog. Okay, we're not gonna read that one. Please listen. Save all of this stuff to the end. I'm gonna be here for an hour, so please share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. But welcome. This is a different week. This is episode 79, and I have had a lot of random stuff. See, I love your likes. Thank you so much. Thank you. But I've had a lot of random things to just come in my space this week. First off, so I get home. Y'all know I got a job. I work on properties. I do a day job. I coach people, and all of these other things. And I get a lot of different random pieces of mail. So I wanted to bring this on air to let all of y'all know. Look, we're paying attention. I see exactly what you're doing. All the scammers, I see what you're doing. So check this out. TikTok, I'm gonna post. I'm gonna show y'all this. I don't even care. Let me make sure my address ain't showing on this joint. But all right, so y'all see this? Y'all see this, right? Look at it. I'm gonna let y'all see the name. Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this, right? So scamming season is up. Some person is going online and they're trying to go. This is another one. Whole different name. Somebody is going online creating credit cards for the people that got good credit. Listen, don't try to scam me, son. Don't try to say. I'm looking at everything you're doing. I don't think that everybody is paying attention to all of their credit information. Please, I'm gonna tell y'all. Please, scamming season is still here. Pay attention to what's on your credit report. Pay attention to what's coming in the mail. Cause I saw this and I was like, okay, do I have a Capital One account? I do have a Capital One account, right? So I was just like, maybe it's a bill. You know, I'm looking. What up, Deacon? So I'm looking at the bill and I'm like, Credit One? I didn't sign up for a Credit One account. So I'm just like, yo, who's the scammer that's coming out with all of these Credit One accounts? It's 3 credit cards. So please pay attention to your credit report. Pay attention to all of the things that's coming in your mail. Cause somebody is up. It's still here. Scamming season started in Christmas. No, it started like towards the end of the pandemic. And now scamming season is just on an all-time high. Inflation's up and all of this stuff. So speaking of scamming season. Matter of fact, no. Before I start, I got to say this episode right here, this episode that y'all are looking at is sponsored by Divine Carpentry Drumsticks. So I wanted to make sure, again, Divine Carpentry Drumsticks. I wanted to open this up on air so y'all can see what I see real time. So let's see. I got this. It was sent to me. We're gonna open this joint up. Hold on. If y'all are listening to this on Apple or Spotify, I'm sorry. I'm opening up a package right now. YouTube, y'all see what's going on. Okay. So, all right. So we got the drumsticks, Divine Carpentry, 5B. I should have told them that I actually would play with 7As. I play with 7As, but these are 5Bs. This is still fire. I like where he's going. Let's see. Let me do it. Oh, see, look at me. I'm wilding out. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. Tyson, what up? All right, so let's see. I like it. So these drumsticks right here Y'all can purchase them in the link in the bio. If you're on YouTube, the link is in the bio. Y'all can go ahead and cop these joints today. All my drummers, I need y'all to support this guy, right? I want y'all to support him. He sent me a message, and I'm saying he. Let me go ahead and pull his name. Chris is his first name. I think his last name is Wilson because I never pay attention to last names. But he sent me a message. It was like, yo, I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of the podcast. I was like, yo, what you got? Everybody knows I'm a big advocate of promoting entrepreneurship on the podcast. So if you're a musician, if you're a songwriter, if you're a visual artist, if you're a dancer, excluding strippers. Nah, nah, strippers. Listen, strippers make bags. At least the last time I thought they made bags. And I guess if you're a bad stripper, you're not making good money. But strippers make bags. So I wanted to exclude them and put this out to all of the people that are really trying to. Jason Walker. That's it. Jason Walker. Yo, fire product. I believe in supporting. So if y'all want to send me something, send me a message first off, cause I ain't gonna promote everything. I'm not gonna promote the what's the joint called? The rabbit or the butterfly, all that stuff. I'm not gonna promote that on the podcast. But if you got a product, I will support it. But please send everything to the Mad Lucrative Podcast at gmail.com. Mad Lucrative Podcast at gmail.com. So now we got that out the way. Back to I want to pose a question. Let's pose a question. We're gonna start the night's pod like that. Let's pose a question. The question I want to pose is, what is your barrier to entry? And I got a lot of different concepts I want to just throw at y'all, right? So what's your barrier of entry? When we're talking to the females, we like, all right, what's your barrier of entry? Like, what does a guy have to do to get into your space to let you know that he vibing with you and you one of them joints that he want to be with, you know? And I ain't talking about sexually. I'm just talking about like actually be like with you and just share life and time and space with you and build things. Speaking of, I know I'm a little bit off subject, but I did see one of my friends on the book post, how do you know when a guy is in love? And I thought that was an ironic question to ask, especially when it comes to how do you know, right? I don't think you know about love. I think I saw a few different people respond, and they were like, well, you know, if you're in love, if you just start doing stuff differently. And I was like, that's kind of one of the things, but another one of those to actually put a stamp on it. I feel like guys know that they're in love with the female when they start planning their future with the female in mind. Right? My son wants to be a music producer. Right? I got you. But I feel like when guys start to plan with the female in mind, then they start saying, okay, well, first off, I want to make sure that I create a stable environment, whether that's with income, whether that's with housing, transportation, all that stuff. You start planning that stuff up front. And then once you start planning that, then you like, all right, I'm ready to welcome you into this space. But what does that look like for a female? I need a female to join the pod live to let me know what that looks like for y'all. Because in my brain, I would like to say when a female feels like they're in love is when they feel like they can freely be themselves around the guy. When they feel like they can trust the guy. With whatever that is, you know, some people like different things. And I think it's always going to be a communication gap between men and the females. But anyway, again, barrier of entry. That's what the question was. What's your barrier of entry? Now, when it comes to business deals, what's the barrier of entry? What makes you feel like you could go ahead and do this deal with this person? Is it because you feel like they're trustworthy? Is it because you've seen some of the things that they've done with other people and it makes you want to do business with them? Or is it one of those, a thirsty partnership, right? Let me give you an example of a thirsty partnership. Who's big down here in Atlanta? Pinky Cole, right? Slutty Vegan, Pinky Cole. What up, Nail Guru? Pinky Cole is down here in Atlanta, right? She got all the slutty vegans and She starts to be in your space from you being affiliated with other people, right? Just say you start going to different luncheons, you start going to different outings, and you see her there all the time. And the business in you wants to make you be an opportunist and ask her for something, but the moral in you says, well, I don't really feel like I'm in the space where she could do business with me just yet. If you ask me, I feel like the second one is the one that we should really pay attention to. Don't start to be a thirsty business person just because you want to be into somebody's space. Because flip that. If you are her, what's her barrier of entry? I can imagine that it's a long track list of things that you need to be and a lot of things that you need to do to be in the space to do some business with her. Because she got all of these different restaurants, right? Another thing, what's the barrier of entry when it comes to your mental space, right? The barrier of entry as it relates to your mental space. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to it, right? I'll unpack it. I always unpack everything. Y'all know I'm the great unpacker. But when it comes to your thought pattern, say you've been in a space where you want to be a little bit more positive. You want to be a little bit more positive and spew positivity when it comes to you being in different rooms. And you so happen to have a friend that does not see no positive in anything. The barrier of entry for me would be, all right, well, not necessarily cut the friendship off, but don't allow them into certain spaces when it comes to your thought pattern. If you're coming up with a progressive way of doing business, leave them out. If it comes to you doing something health wise and you want to start eating better, and if you always go to that friend, they're gonna want to eat them wings and they want to eat them fries. They want to go drink all night. They want to hang, maybe smoke a little bit of weed, then eat again. Like, that's not really the space you need to be in. Limit that person's limit your availability to that person. Right? I like to say it like that. Like, barrier of entry. Now, speaking of barrier of entry, I've been looking at the news. Have y'all been looking at the news, right? Have you been looking at the news? Facebook, have y'all been looking at the news? So, I'm looking at what our current president is doing. Speaking of barrier of entry. And he's presenting this idea. This is supposed to be going into effect. It's supposed to go into effect May 1st. May 1st, the government is giving opportunity to people with lower credit scores to get properties, right? And the specifics is they're supposed to be, all right, let's see. Let me make sure I read it right. So Biden's housing bill is trying to make sure that they're providing housing for people with lower credit scores under 680. If you have over a 680 credit score and you're getting a new loan, then you're going to pay the higher interest rate and you're going to pay an extra $40 roughly on your mortgage, your monthly mortgage. We just talked about last week that they're looking at doing, what was it, 40-year mortgages? They're looking at doing 40-year mortgages, right? Started that last week. They started talking about that. So now you want to present the idea of doing a 680 credit score and lower for you to buy houses, which I'm going to touch on. I'm going to tackle that. But then you're penalizing the people that have a 680 and above. Y'all get it? Y'all get it? Bobby, did you get it? Get on Facebook? They're gonna penalize people for 680 and above credit score. All right. So this is my take on that. I feel like, all right, so let's see. I'm trying to think of properties. All right, so let's say this property that I'm in right now, I own this property. And at the time, you had to have roughly, what was it, 640. That was your mid score, 640. So that's not too different. Not too different. But if you had a 680 or a 700, then you get a little bit more incentives and you get a little bit lower interest rate when it comes to your monthly mortgage, right? So what happens if people like me that like to invest in real estate and it has a construction business and I pay laborers and all that stuff. What happens if I want to go out and buy an investment property now? They say, hey, we're going to make sure that you pay your 15 to 20% on your property while these people with 680 and under pay less. And you're going to pay this 7% interest rate because you're just trying to buy this house as an investment property. So problematic. I need to get my booze and everything ready for this segment because it's a lot going on. So let's see where we at. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. What that looks like is this. So if you got people that's got a 680 and under credit score, automatically, if I'm a creditor, automatically I can assume that that person has had some issues making payments on their, whether it's a car payment, credit cards, whatever. They've had issues making payments on that stuff, which has made their credit score drop to a lower score. So I would ask myself, hey, self, yeah, what is it? Self, why would you want to give these people with the lower credit score, which I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing, Biden. I see exactly what you're doing. But why would you want to give these people with the lower credit score the opportunity to buy houses and you tax the people with the higher credit score and we're gonna label it subsidized housing? What I see, and if y'all don't see it, the writing's on the wall. The writing's y'all can play this podcast back a year or two from now and you be like, yo, that mother was right. He was right. So what I see happening is this. It's the same thing that happened in '08 and before. They were giving people loans. I was one of those people. They gave a loan to me and I had bought my first condo at the time. Bought my condo. And guess what? I wasn't ready. I already knew I was not ready. I was not responsible. I had a job. I had income. I started getting placements with Jim Jones and Dipset and Sony, and I started getting some money, but mentally I was not in the space to be able to manage having a condo. I wasn't there yet, but they gave me the loan. Shouts out to Wells Fargo, and guess what? Like anybody that came from having a 630, I think I had a 630 credit score, 630, 640 credit score at the time. Anybody have a low credit score like that, what happens? You default on a loan because you find every other thing that's a little bit more important than having a loan. Like I had furnishings and all this random stuff. I had everything, a lot of stuff. Baby grand in my front room, right? Never played it, but never got it tuned either. I had a baby grand in the front room, and I was that guy, right? And then I'm gonna say 3 years later, they say, hey, we need to get that. Let me get that because we see that you got a file against you on your homeowners association, and although you've been making your mortgage payment, we got to give the housing the homeowners association what they want. So they said, all right, we're gonna foreclose on your house. I said, no, don't do it. So I started paying all these legal fees, right? A couple thousand here, thousand there, thousand there, borrowing some money, 1,000, paying 1,000 on legal fees to fight it, and ultimately, I got foreclosed on. The sheriff came to the house, foreclosed on my condo, and I said, I'll never do this again. The only way I will feel comfortable buying a house the next time is that I have a stable job, I have stable income, and I have enough things working in my favor that allows me to sustain the property, right? So now, fast forward, things. If I told you my mortgage, I'd be like, for real? It's a little baby mortgage. It's nothing. So, but I've been able to maintain a cheaper mortgage, been able to maintain no car payments for a few years now. And now it's like, all right, what type of investments do we need to start making? Do we need to invest in this business? Like this podcast y'all looking at, it's an investment. It's investment in time, investment in money, investments, right? So I said, all right, we're going to start doing this, doing that. And now if another property comes up for me to invest in, I'm going to jump at it because I have the know-how. I know how to manage it. I know how what percentages I need to have to put down, and all of this stuff. But what happens? What happens for people like me? That's I'm gonna say the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, I plan on retiring. Right? No, I don't have to work. That's the freedom money. Retiring. And they say, well, you know what? We can't let you buy no houses right now because we gave all of these properties at a cheaper rate to the guys that has the 680 and under credit score. If you're a person like me that's worked on your stuff, it will piss you off, right? It'll piss you off. But if you're also a person like me, you start to forecast and you understand how the economy can work. So you start to understand, all right, well, when it comes to properties and housing markets, if they are giving all of these people with bad credit, let's just say that if they're giving all these people bad credit properties right now, in the next, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 years, how many of those properties are gonna go into default, and how many of those banks are gonna own those properties? And guess what? By that time, the interest rate will be back at like a 3.5, 3 whatever percent, and people like me will be able to come back and say, well, you know what? Let me get five of them. Let me get five of them. I had a little bit of time to get my money up. Got about 500,000. Let me just get the whole complex at a discount because all these people defaulted on that loan. And guess what? You ain't gotta move out the property. I'm gonna just buy the property. You pay me rent, and we be good. I think that's where we're going. That's where we're going. And I think you can almost bank on certain statements that I make because I study how the economy works, and I'm just like, yo, this is the big setup. But they're not only doing that. This is a way for them to bail out the bank without bailing out the bank. They say, all right, well, we need people. People ain't able to spend money on food because food is inflated, gas is inflated, everything's inflated. So we're going to say we're going to look out for them on the housing market. We're going to look out for them on the housing market. In actuality, it's a slick way of making I hate to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to make it a white and black situation. But it's a way of making the black people feel like, here you go, you got something now. We couldn't give you 40 acres and a mule, but we're gonna give you this instead. And you're not really giving nobody nothing. You're hedging the banks. This is a way for you to hedge the bank accounts to make sure that they stay afloat. So everybody with the six matter of fact, let's do this. If y'all are watching the Mad Lucrative podcast on YouTube, make sure you come holler at me for the property that you're about to buy. Let my company work on getting everything straightened out for you. It's gonna be a dream house. How about that? And then if anything happens in the future, come holler at me. I will buy it from you at a discount. Oh, that sounds shady, right? Sound mad shady. So before I go to the next subject, let me see. I'm gonna read off this. Let's see. Bobby on TikTok. He said, my son wants to be a music producer. What major in college or just intern? That's a good one. That's a really good one. So when it comes to the music business is all relationship. It's very little talent and it's very little skill. I'll say talent, skill kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of go hand in hand. So it's all relationships. The first internship that I did, and I can tell you from both perspectives. This is what I mean. I went to college to study music. I studied music. I got a degree in classical studies and electronic music, so I can program. I can do conducting. Like I can conduct the orchestra and all that stuff. I have that skill under my belt, right? But when it came to me starting to aim to get work, and it came to me uh, getting in certain spaces with people like the Eminems, the 50 Cents, the Jim Joneses, the anybody in the business, right? It had nothing to do with me being able to conduct the song or orchestra. It had nothing to do with me, my education in college. It had everything to do with the people that I knew to get me into the space. Um, Same thing with publishing deals, right? A publishing deal can be the barrier of entry. See, there goes that word again. But a publishing deal can be the barrier of entry when it comes to getting your music in the space of the greats like Beyonce or Jay-Z or Rihanna, right? It's the barrier of entry, but it's a step before the barrier of entry that a lot of people are disregarding right now. Right now it's a little bit easier because we do have the internet. So I came up when the internet was not like a big thing. It was just there. But now you have the internet where you can build a following. You build the following. That's kind of your community equity. I use that word. Your presence online is your community equity into getting to the spaces with the music execs and all those things, right? So you can bypass certain barrier of entries if you do the work. But as it relates to college, if anybody and I know a lot of professors might get on me for what I'm about to say, but if you are going to college to learn a skill solely and you're dependent on that skill to provide income for you, unless you are a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, an engineer, architect, any of that stuff. If you're going to school for one of those things, yeah, you can bank on getting money as soon as you get out. But if you're going to school for art, writing, um, songwriting, all of the fun degrees, you better learn how to network. That's gonna be your biggest builder right now. If you're in school and you're networking with people, that's gonna build you everything you need after you get out of college. And I'll unpack that. Let's say, like just the guy that I just promoted, right? All right, Jason Walker. I just promoted his drumsticks. Well, I only agreed to go ahead and help him promote. Of course, it's a barrier of entry. I'm not gonna say how much, but I agreed to help him promote on my podcast because I know he was an alumni at my school. So I'm like, oh yo, dope. You're an alum. I'm an Aggie. You're an Aggie. Let me help you promote, right? But let's say I did not know who that was, and being that I'm very selective with what I promote on my podcast, I might be like, I don't know if it aligns with what I'm trying to promote on the network, right? This whole network, the whole Mad Lucrative network, is about promoting musicians to create secondary income through something. So of course that lines up. He has a business that's in drumsticks. He sells the drumsticks merchandise, and that's getting money to help him promote his art. I'm all for that. But like I'm not gonna say the names of the company, but it's a company that I think they're based in Wyoming or something like that. But they sent me some of their products, and I was like, I wanted to go ahead and promote it because the bag was a good bag. That bag was alright. That bag was, but I was like, I don't smoke weed, so I would be promoting something that I don't do, and I'm not saying that if you smoke weed you're a bad person, but I'm just saying I don't smoke weed because every time that I smoke weed, it did not promote me to do anything productive. And I didn't see anybody else around me doing anything that was productive after they smoked. So just don't do it. I noticed, and I'm gonna go to the next subject, but I noticed that a lot of people that smoke weed are very unattentive when it comes to real life. And it's just an irritating situation. I got a buddy of mine that posted, they were in the studio, and I'm not gonna say the artist, but again, I'm from the music business, so I know a lot of people. So I saw them post that they were in the studio with the artist, and everybody was in the studio hugged up. First off, I'm not. I'm. Your preference is your preference, but don't be hugged up on me in the studio smoking weed and like yeah. No, that's not my vibe. My vibe is not that. My vibe is I'm gonna have my colorful socks on. I'm not Indian style 'cause I'm a little bit too big to be sitting Indian style. But I'm gonna be sitting in the studio and I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna have my cup of coffee right here. I'm gonna have some incense lit. I might have some candles lit. It's a vibe. I create a vibe when I come in, right? But again, if y'all smoke weed, that's cool. Do your thing. But that's not the studio session for me. I'll send you the stems. I would I would email you the stems gladly, and that's just how it works. So long answer, short answer is Bobby. Yes, if he wants to be in school, let him go in school. I guess one of the best schools that he can do some networking in would be Full Sail. If you're here in Atlanta, SCAD is a good school. Um, and just get in the street. Learn how to be affiliated with the people that's going to be movers and shakers. One of the people that I knew, and that mother don't answer his phone now, but it's cool. I get my how I get it. But Ty Dolla Sign, DJ Mustard. We all had our deal at a label. I'm not gonna say the label, but we all had our deal at the same label at the same time, and it's just networking. Again, it's a few projects I'm working on right now. Y'all will see them on TV. But that relationship that I got with that film producer came from somebody I've known for almost 20 years now. Put the numbers together. Put the numbers together. That's how I look. That's how you gotta look at everything. So if you have any other questions, please shoot. I will answer them at some point in the pod. On to the next subject. The next subject. Do we want to touch on? Uh, okay. All right. All right. We're gonna touch on it. AI. AI is here to stay. I'm sorry. And I'm only clapping to be petty, but AI is here to stay. Um, Jeez. So it's a girl, and I'm gonna see if I can find the clip. But it's a girl that was on IG. I hate saying crediting sources with a girl, a guy, or whatever. But anyway, it was a girl on IG, and she was sharing her sentiments on a particular graphic designer that created an AI black girl to model clothes virtually. And she was saying, well, this man is a white man, and he created this black girl to make money off her for modeling, and now this AI female is a premiered model when it comes to Vogue magazine and these big brand magazines. So for me, I'm like, you mother effers, I told you. No cuss. But I'm like, you mother effers, I told you. I told you this was coming. Like, okay. All right. So and I'll backtrack again because I like to go ahead and I provide some type of resolve and some type of solution, right? So what I foresaw was if AI is this big thing that everybody's just gonna use anyway, as a business person first, what I automatically think is, all right, so if I got this AI model that this guy designed, and I have clothes that I don't want to print and I don't want to have manufactured just yet. I just want to have like one of ones designed. But this one of one design is on the computer before it's printed anyway. And you have a female that's on a computer and like perfect match made in heaven. We can make her stand like this. We can make her stand at a pose. We can make her stand with her hands on the hips. We have all the abilities to make this model, this AI model, stand to wear our clothes. And guess what? We don't even have to size this model. The size is automatically right because it's AI and AI. It's all digital. So now it's starting to hit home. I think it's starting to hit home for everybody now, right? If you have a person, and I don't want to say white man or black man, but it is a white man that created it. If you have a white man that created a black model and they know that this model is going to be sought after and he owns the rights to what would it be? He owns the rights to the code that creates this AI model. How many times you think he's going to get paid? Just think about that. How many times do you think this man is going to get paid off of this model? Especially if she's modeling for Yves Saint Laurent. She modeling for Gucci. She modeling for Fendi, Prada. She modeling for all the big brands. Not Walmart. We're going to get the regular people to still do Walmart for the time being. Just think about that. It's as a person that owns businesses, I can tell you all the upsides to it. And I hate to say it like that, but it's a lot of upsides. If you own the business, think about it like this. You own a business. You hire this guy to use this AI model. I don't have to deal with the attitudes. I don't have to deal with any pushback. I don't have to deal with. I don't really want to feel. I don't want to wear this because it's a little bit racy. You know, my boyfriend don't want me to wear this. You ain't got to deal with a husband that's kind of like me. Like I don't want my wife wearing random stuff either. You don't have to deal with none of that. It's just put the clothes on her, take pictures of it, send the pictures out, sell clothes. Easy. And let's say this model wears clothes for 30 different brands in one day. It's not humanly possible to do that. If it's a real life human model, it's not humanly possible for her to go through 30 different photo shoots in one day. But with AI, taste the soup. Coming to America. Taste the soup. Where the spoon at? That's where we at with it. That's where we at. So the only way to combat all of this stuff is to create smaller communities of models, brands, and we promote, like on this podcast, we promote the brand, we promote the models even, and say, hey, we have this little mom and pop shop, and we just want to help everybody promote. Go buy your clothes from this person, support them, this, and that. That's gonna be the only way to combat all of the stuff that the big brands are gonna do with AI. That's the only way to do it. Same thing when it comes to music producers and singers and songwriters. If you got an AI version of Drake, let's just say that. Let's say Drake owns the AI version of himself. Let's just say that, right? And he owns the code. The AI version of Drake can do 50 songs in one day. And the AI version of Metro Boom can do 50 songs in one day. It's not humanly possible for anybody to naturally keep up with that type of output. And y'all did it anyway. I'm saying y'all, all of y'all on TikTok, on Facebook. Well, not Facebook. That's for the old heads now. But everybody on TikTok, on Instagram, on everybody that posts music with the videos and all that stuff. Y'all did it. It's y'all fault. It's everybody's fault. Because nobody tried to credit the artist. Nobody tried to credit the producer. Everybody just posting videos. Yeah, that's a dope song. That joint hit hard, son. Yeah, let me go ahead and post it. Who did it? Whose song is it? I don't know. Somebody. Y'all did it. This is everybody's fault. So now that we don't really care about who's credited, we don't care about who's doing what. AI's like, yo, bet. So since y'all doing that, well, we could generate 50 songs owned by Universal Music Group, owned by Sony. Yeah, I'm putting that down. Owned by everybody, owned by the major companies. We can just put 50 songs out per day, and y'all gonna use them for y'all shorts. Y'all gonna use them for y'all little reels, and we gonna collect. We gonna get all the publishing money that y'all do. And guess what? If it don't spend as much as we wanted to spend, we'll just boost it up a little bit. Y'all know good and well the label's boosting all the algorithms. Come on, stop playing. Stop playing. Speaking of algorithm boosts, so I did a thing. I'm gonna get into my voice. I did a thing this week. And I don't know how to feel about it, but I did it, and you know what? I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I did it. Y'all want to know what it was? I'll tell you exactly what it was. I got verified this week. yo, after I know everybody like, yo, after all that trash you were talking. Yes, after all that trash I was talking, I went on ahead and got verified. And you know, I feel good that I have the blue check. I finally have the blue check. No. Hold your applause. Yo, okay, let me tell y'all this. All right, let me tell you this. Let me break it down. Listen, Linda. So what I've noticed is this. Anytime that there's been, especially in the earlier phase of my life and earlier career, anytime that there's been a change with technology, I wanted to fight it, right? And in me fighting the technology change, it caused me to miss out on some of the turns. Some of the turns, whether that was with the music business going from analog to digital, from digital to streaming, from streaming to now everything that we do right now, right? I fought it because I was like, yo, I see past the BS, which is always going to end up being the lack of ownership. That's what I felt like it always ends up being, the lack of ownership. So I said, you know what? The blue check, I studied up on it. They said you'll find favor with the algorithm if you get the blue check. Guess what? It has changed. It has changed. But I picked up this little article I would like to talk about for a little second. And yo, Elon Musk is the most spiciest white African I've seen ever. Yo, shouts out to my white brother Elon. But Elon, I'll paraphrase it, right? Because I don't really want to read the long article. But so Elon is revoking all of the legacy blue check people. So if you had a blue check and you were on Twitter and you earned that blue check, like everybody has been proud of earning the blue check, right? You earned the blue check. You put the work in. You built the following. You built the credibility in yourself. Elon said, "Yeah, you know what? It's up. Now, nope. You got to pay too. Go ahead." So he's revoking the legacy blue checks, and you got to go ahead and buy them joints again. Guess what? It's a turn coming. It's a change coming. It's a change. So I'm sending these claps. Because I feel like I'm making responsible choices, right? So I've had a few people in my circle to say, well, I would never pay for the blue check. And I was one of those I would never pay for a blue check person too. But then I started to think about it like this. Okay. If they are, let's say for the big accounts, right? Let's say for the big accounts like Kim K. All right, let's pull it up right quick. Kim K. Instagram followers. All right, so right now Kim K is sitting at 353 million followers. 353 million followers, over a quarter billion followers on Instagram. Shouts out to her. Right? But let's say if you hedge it a little bit, you take off some of the bots. Because them bots is in them joints. Bots, which is also, I feel like bots were early AI. If you want to, let's be real. Bots were early AI. Let's say that. But let's say you take off some of them bots, and now her account is right around 93, let's say 93 million real followers. All right. So now, all of the brands, which my wife was like, yeah, she probably won't lose but so much. But let's, for conversation purposes, let's say all of her followers drop down from 300 million followers to 93 million. All the brands, how you think the brands are going to feel about her following dropping so low? They'll Kim, why would we do business with you right now, Kim? And Kim would say, well, I got followers and this and that, and, it must be something wrong with the algorithm and all of this. They'll say, yeah, sure, Kim. So this deal that we just gave you, did we just pay you $3 million for a post? Okay, so that post will now be around, can we do 1.5 or 1 million for a post? It's going to hit them pockets. So instead of doing the hedge against the bots, Instagram, Twitter, I'm sure Facebook, Facebook is already doing it. Everybody's going to say, well, you know what? Just pay to get verified. If you're a real person like you say you are, we'll verify your account with your license and all this stuff and say that you're a credible person, you're a real resource, put your blue check on there, and we leave you alone. You can keep the bots, you can keep collecting your checks from ads and revenue, and we're good. But if you don't want to get the blue check, people might assume that you're not a real account, and they might not want to follow you. How do you feel about that? That's where we're going. Everybody's gonna be like, dang, I should have did it. At that time, I ain't gonna lie, I hope that Elon does it. I hope that Jeff does it. I hope everybody be like, well, you know what? It was 15. If you jumped in early, it's like good investors, right? It's good investors. If you jumped in early, you can lock in at $15 a month. But if you get in a little bit late, it's gonna be $38 a month. I don't know where I got that number. It's gonna be $38.99 a month because you didn't jump in early. I hope he gets to that. Cause I just feel like there are a lot of different ways to justify people making money. And I'm never for the big brands. I'm always gonna be for the little guys. Let's just say that off the rip. I'm always gonna be for the little guys. But it's always the guys like myself that want to be vigilantes and fight against it when it is actually it makes a little bit of sense. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. Even if you're getting verified on TikTok and all that stuff, like I get it, but TikTok's not owned by us, so we already know. I'm gonna stay off of that. The last time I started talking like that, TikTok banned me. So I don't want to get banned tonight. So on to the next subject. Lorenzo Tate. Lorenzo Tate. Listen. Lorenzo Tate has been one of those guys in our community for a while. So it was a clip. I'm gonna try to pull that clip up. I haven't been able to pull none of my clips up tonight for some reason, so I gotta figure that out. But Lorenzo Tate. So I wanted to pull it up. Hopefully my feed plays. But Lorenzo Tate was talking about him being in the film industry and how he had the epiphany that, oh, well, the people, the execs will give you deals because they want to, make you happy for the moment. But when you go into that cold season, which I know about the cold season, listen, I know about broke season. When you go into that cold season, you need something to lean back on, and you're leaning back on was going to be the royalties from the projects. But if you sold it off in the beginning, then you don't have it. So let me see. Is it playing? Do y'all hear it? Y'all don't hear it. I don't hear it either. All right, I'm sorry. So, yeah, it's not going to play. I'm sorry. So anyway, he was talking about being in the music business and, I mean, not music business, but in the television and film industry. And, the importance of ownership. And I would like to also add to his statement before I unpack his statement. I think if you're getting into anything that's in the creative space, whether that's music, whether that's acting, dance, anything, visual arts, don't just be talent. I want everybody to put that. Last week I asked y'all to put something on y'all windows and y'all mirrors. Y'all ain't post no pictures of y'all doing it. This week I'm gonna say it again. Don't just be talent. What I mean by that is this. When you're a business owner and you're having to look at the bottom line for everything, whether that's from a boardroom perspective, whether that's from a ownership perspective, you're always going to be the person that has to look at things from a broad view, right? So what that looks like is this. Let's put it in my space, in contractor world. As a building contractor, I automatically want to know, okay, who is the best person I could get for doing this tile work? Who is the best person I can get for painting the rooms? Who is the best person I can get for the sheetrock and the roofing and all that stuff? Who is the best person I could get? That's the talent. And how much do I have to pay them? That's the salary, right? Automatically, to get the best bang for the buck, I need to hire the cheapest talent that has the highest skill. That's the way it works. If I own a business, I need to make sure that everybody can profit, but everybody also takes a good salary home so they don't fight. And they go home for the week after a long week of work. They say, you know what? I made $1,000 for this week, and I'm happy. I made $4,000 for the month. I'm good. I need that out of people that work for me, right? But let's put that in film industry perspective. I got this movie from Steven Spielberg, right? And the movie, let's say the budget's like $100 million. $100 million for this movie, and I gotta find again the talent, which is the actors, and I got to make sure that everybody is paid, whether it's the actors, the boom people with the microphones, all of those people. I got to make sure everybody's paid and happy for the week. You see where it's going? You got to be happy for the week. But when it comes to the overall project, why would I sell ownership? Why would I want to give y'all a piece of what I'm making from this movie forever? I fronted the money. It's my business. I paid you to be the talent. And from you being the talent, you shouldn't have nothing else to say. I paid for it. How much you get paid off this movie? A couple million? Okay, cool. Go do something with your million. That's not on me. That's on you. So I get it from both perspectives, but I feel like as being a talent person, a talent based person, we have to make sure we put us in the forefront of every opportunity that comes up. You ask immediately. Is there any space for anybody to is there any space for y'all to have an executive producer role in this film? If it is, in addition to me acting, I would like to put a little bit of money up to be an executive producer. Most of the time they'll say, "Oh, I guess you could, you're in a position." That's how money people talk. You're in a position to put some money up towards this film. You say, "Yeah, I could put 500,000 up." Okay, cool. You put 500,000 up, we'll give you 1% royalty. How's that sound? Sounds good to me. 1% royalty on $1 billion film that's making $1 million a year. Forever. And let's say it drops down. Let's say you only make 500,000 for the year. But guess what? You still making some money, some residual income after the movie is out because you assumed an executive producer role in some facet. Same thing with me. Say if I take on a film project and I'm doing a score, like if I'm doing a film score, if I'm doing a music supervisor position, whatever I'm doing on the film or television, I say, well, you know what? I'll cut half of my rate that I would normally charge you, so I can get some executive producer role. Yeah, okay, cool. So I can own some of the royalties. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's cool. Cool. Do you think? Guess what? Once I pass my daughters, they have the royalties in hand. Once Even if I don't pass, let's say I live to be 185 years old, I can still be collecting royalties on any platform. It might only be We might only have headsets and shades for television at some point. Any facet of media that will stream that content that I did years ago, I'll be able to collect off of it because I assumed an executive producer role. And I think that's what Lorenzo Tate was saying, like, yo, like, I wish I knew that back then. So now, if y'all, some of my youngins, because I know y'all, a lot of y'all youngins follow the channel, try to own something. Don't just be the talent. Oh, bro, I can rap. Okay, cool. Good for you. I'm glad. I'm glad you can rap. You such a good job. Shuck and jive. Don't just rap. Don't just sing. Don't just paint. Don't just dance. Own something. Be in the position to be able to own something. And to start wrapping everything up, last but not least, I want to make sure we start touching on our activities. I wanted this whole month to kind of be centered around entrepreneurship. I got a few ladies that's coming up next month. That's gonna be fire. Some real dope interviews. But so in our activity department, and all of my Facebook group people, y'all already know where we at with this. But I'll let the YouTube people know. So when it comes to our activities, our day to day activities, I want to say this: let's stop celebrating counterproductive activity. Start there. Let's stop celebrating counterproductive activity. And I might touch some people the wrong way. I'm here for that sometimes too. But why would we celebrate somebody? I think a lot of people have said this too though. But why would we celebrate the person that got a job versus the person that created a job? For one, why would we celebrate that more than the other? Because the person that got the job is making money for somebody else. They're helping somebody else's dream come into fruition, and they're gonna collect the check. They're just gonna collect the check. Even if it's a big check, you can make $100,000 a year for somebody else. You can make $1 million a year for somebody else. If they're paying you 1 million or 100,000 per year, guess what? Your worth is probably umpteen times more than that. So why wouldn't you try to create it for yourself? Even if you got to do it part time first, start doing it part time. But us as the average consumer and the average follower, let's stop celebrating the job versus the person that created the job. Another thing, why would we celebrate the guy that just got home from jail versus the guy that's never went to jail, that went to college, that did mostly everything right, that did decent, and they're a productive member of society? Why would we celebrate one over the other? That's not being real. That's being lame. That's that's celebrating counterproductive activity. Another one. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I love you ladies. I love all y'all. I too grew up in a single parent household. I had a few men influences, my grandfather and all those people. But why are we celebrating the person that got pregnant that's not married? Oh. Oh no. Why are we celebrating that? Now, it's a difference between celebrating and loving on, right? It's two different conversations. Yes, let's love on the person that has the baby coming that might not be married. That's fine. Let's love on them and coach them into being this loving mother and all this stuff. And let's celebrate that. I'm cool with that, right? But why are we not celebrating the people that's going through the process, getting married? They start doing some things together. They start building life together. They start uh, writing visions, projecting ideas, and all this stuff, and growing together. And then they have a kid, and they start teaching that kid the businesses, and they start doing this and developing the brain. Let's celebrate that. Our society is becoming something that's real weird right now. It's just weird. And again, it is a difference between loving on and celebrating. I remember back in the day, I'm gonna probably say the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s, if the preacher, not even the preacher's kid, but if somebody in the church got knocked up, is what they said. If first off, no, not even. Let's start on the shacking up. Let's Y'all know what shacking up is. TikTok, Facebook, y'all know what shacking up is. I know I got some youngins. So shacking up is when you go ahead and you say, well, you know what? We ain't married, but we plan on getting married at some point. So we gonna go ahead and get this house together, and we gonna just live in here for as long as we can. That's how people. That's how we had a lot of people that was what do you call it, engaged for 10 years. 10-year engagement, never got married though. Got kids, got different properties, got everything, but ain't getting married. We start to coach that. We start to champion that, and now that's the norm. That's the norm. Well, nah, you don't get married. Nah, what we gonna get married for? We gonna get the property first. We gonna have a kid first. Then we gonna plan this wedding. What? What? Oh, it don't make sense. It just don't make. For me, I'm gonna give y'all a lot of. This is some logic. This is why it don't make sense, and this is why we got to stop championing this type of activity. Let's say this person gets a house with this other person that they've been shacking up with. That, again, we don't even call it shacking up no more because it's normal. Like, we just do this. This is something that we do. But say this person gets this house with this other person. I'm not gonna say male or female because that's where we at with that too. But they get a house together and then they start building life together, and then they find out that the person that they've built this life together with has no. Let's say they started a will or whatever, and everything that they get after the person dies, the family gets it. But you built this life with this person legally. They say, okay, well, shoot, we got common law in our state. We got common law. Oh, for real? Okay, well, cool. Let me know how common law works out when the family member owns a policy on this person. Let me know what you feel like you're entitled to at that point. Right? That's one stamp. Then let's say this person has a 401k. Now, yeah, you can put the people down as a beneficiary and all that kind of stuff, but let's just say it's not as easy to do when you're not married. And it poses a lot of different questions and a lot of different inconsistent results. Where it's just like, yo, if y'all just got married, I know they used to say, I'd rather marry and married and burned in hell. That was the way of saying I'm gonna get married, so I don't have to live in sin, whatever. But yo, like I feel like we as a society have to start championing families, championing relationships, um, championing processes. Right? I think everything about this generation is just too fast. It's fast. Like I want to get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get that, oh, you know, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get her pregnant. This like yo, no, slow down. Whoa, big fella, slow down, and let's start the champion process. Okay, well, you know what? To get this, I want to do this. This way, I'm gonna do it a little bit slower because if I do it slow, then I make sure I don't miss no steps. Everybody know what happened when you miss a step. When you miss a step, you fall, you bust your lip. That's what happened when you miss steps. So no, let's not skip steps. Let's champion processes. If somebody, I would very much so rather us start to celebrate the people that, because I'm a witness. I have three businesses now, right? The first two businesses, I think I posted. Yeah, I started my LLC, this, and that. I'm excited. I'm all excited. I'm telling people about my business, and I got one like. I said, I'm gonna start the Mad Lucrative Network. I'm gonna do the podcast, this, and that. I'm 79 episodes in. When I first started, one like, and it's like, yeah, good job. That's like, yo, y'all. This is for y'all. I'm trying to help educate musicians because musicians have been broke for so long, and I want to help all y'all out. And I just want to help everybody make money and just be successful and prosperous because I figured it out. I figured out you can do income. They said, good luck with that. I said, oh, okay. But guess what? If I was one of the people that just fed off of the energy of the people that I expected to support me, I'd be short. I'd be mad short. Because what happens is this. After around episode 20, 30, you start getting tired. And you start saying, well, you know what? I've only grown by 10 followers. I got very few people that's looking at the pod. And, it's why am I doing it? What's the purpose? And then you get the outside... You get the outside influence, like, oh yeah, you see what Steve Harvey do, and you see your friends sharing other people's stuff that's like umpteenth times bigger than you, and you're like, well, why didn't you share my stuff? They be like, well, yeah, I mean, it's Steve Harvey, like, why would I, Steve, like, and I'm like, okay, it's at that point when I feel like everybody that's when the warriors and that's when the titans are birthed in their spaces. When people don't support you and you keep going, that's when you find out who the real ones are. That's when you find out who the real ones are. Because if you're still going, right? Let's say this, right? And I want to let's take Jeff Bezos for instance. Jeff is a good one. Jeff Bezos started, let's see when he started Amazon. Jeff started Amazon when? All right, so Jeff Bezos started Amazon in 1994, right? If Jeff Bezos started Amazon in 1994 and it took until 2015, 16, pre-pandemic, when the pandemic started going crazy, and then the pandemic came and they were like, yo, what's this thing? Amazon? Yeah, let's just use that. Let's use that. We can get it real quick. We can get it. Jeff started. But it took 94. Let's do the math. 94 to 2004. That's 10 years. 2004 to 2014. That's 20 years. And what's that? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 20. So we're going to say, let's say a nice 28 years of work. People was like, yo, why are you selling books? Like, it's cute. I order some books on Amazon. It's cool. If Jeff stopped, because y'all was just ordering books and he didn't start to evolve, he would never be, Amazon wouldn't be the brand that we know it as today. Amazon is the new Walmart. Period. Right? So again, what are we championing? Let's not champion lazy activity. Let's not champion counterproductive activity. Now it's time to get to it. Last thing. I know it said last thing. I'm I'm an hour in. So please, if y'all want to watch the rest of this, go back to YouTube. It will be posted next week. But last thing, know the cost of success. That's yo, that bar by itself. Know the cost of success. I just finished watching Steve Harvey and Shannon Sharp do their interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast, which is fire by the way. But Steve was saying that everybody was getting on him because he said, if you want to be successful, you can't sleep 8 hours a day. I'm a witness. I'm nowhere near Steve Harvey's status, right? But I'm a witness. You cannot sleep 8 hours a day and think that you're gonna be successful. It is a wrap. You'll be sick. You'll be sick. You might sis. You'll be a sick. But no, don't think you're gonna sleep 8 hours a day and you're gonna get to it. I think what happens is people we get into a bag of what makes us feel comfortable and what makes us feel appreciated and what appreciation and comfortability looks like. And then we start to adjust our level of success or what we view as success in the comfort zone. Well, I can do this. I can get my Starbucks every day and I'm comfortable. I can pay all my bills and I'm comfortable. So I'm successful, right? But the other step of that is if you're successful, how many other people are able to benefit off of your success? I think that is the biggest flex in the world when somebody else can flex off of your success. If somebody that works for you makes $100,000 a year, let's say you got 10 people making $100,000 a year, you paying $1 million in salary, and they're like, "Yo, that's a good person to work for. I made $100,000 this year." So if they made $1 million in salary, that means you at least made $10 million, right? That's the flex. It's not a flex for you to only be the one with the Rolex. It's not. That's not the flex. It's not the flex for you to be the only one with a Tesla or a Benz or whatever the biggest car is at the time or a $1 million house. That's not a flex. The flex is when everybody else around you is affected by your success in a good way. Yo, we gonna go to vacation. We gonna go to Broad. I be wanting to go everywhere. We gonna go to something cheap. Cozumel, Mexico. We gonna go to Cozumel, Mexico. Everybody this year board meeting. We gonna have fun down there. We gonna talk a little bit about business because we gotta do a write off for the next year. But we gonna go down there. We gonna talk about business for a little bit. We gonna have a vacation. How about that? Cool. Ain't nobody gonna ask. Well, they might ask because if you suggest it, they're gonna assume that you're gonna pay for it. But they might not be as hard up to ask for who's gonna pay for the trip if everybody's making $100,000. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's gonna be how much? Oh, cool, 1,000 a head. Let's do it." That's the flex. Let's champion that activity. Know the price of success. Success might cost you your sleep. Success might cost you certain relationships. Success might cost you your car. Like I talked about last week. If you want to be financially successful and part of your game plan is to save a certain amount and that car payment is keeping you from being able to save that amount, get rid of it. That's costing you your success. That car payment. If you know that the relationship that you in right now is costing you your success, you might need to get rid of it. Now, again, know if you need to get rid of it and know if you need to adjust something about yourself. Maybe it's somewhere where you need to grow before you say, let me entertain getting rid of this person. Know the cost. I think I did all my housekeeping. Please make sure y'all come back next week. We will be chopping it up. I got some dope interviews coming. And I got a few things in my notes I was not able to touch this week, but it's cool. So please come back next week. It's been real. Love y'all. Peace.